The story of the Florida Panthers is a story of perseverance and hope. And if there's one fan who represents that, it's Big C's, Cesar Lucero.
You're Locked On Panthers, your daily podcast on the Florida Panthers. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
And welcome into this Monday, July 28th edition of the Locked On Florida Panthers podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, where it is your team every day. Thank you for making the Locked On Florida Panthers podcast your first listen of the day. I'm Armando Velez from the Hockey News. You can follow me on X at Monoman12. That is Big C's, Cesar Lucero, here joining me on the show. You can follow him on X at Big C's, and you could also follow him on Instagram at Caesar_inspires. Today's episode is brought to you by Monarch Money. And take control of your finances with Monarch Money. Use code LOCKEDONNHL at monarchmoney.com for 50% off of your first year. So, Panther fans, grateful to be back here once again on another edition of the show to discuss everything in the world of the Florida Panthers. Today, obviously, we introduce our special guest, Cesar Lucero. We are going to discuss Cesar's story of perseverance and hope. We're going to discuss also in segment number 2 his celebration with the Stanley Cup and the multiple other media personalities he's been able to meet throughout this run, and of course the Cup celebrations. And in segment number 3, we're going to discuss more about Florida Panthers hockey and everything else in between. But Cesar, grateful to be back here on the show, and grateful to have you on here. So welcome to your Locked On Panthers debut, my friend.
Wow, thank you, man. I really appreciate it, Armando. And it's finally good to finally meet you, man. It's been watching your show for a long time, and you do a great job. And I'm so glad to be here, man.
Absolutely. And you do a great job yourself on your show. If you guys want to follow Cesar's show, you can follow him at the Big C's Show. You could follow his work over on YouTube. And he's also part of the Cats and Rats community. So make sure to join him, Kirby, Cody, and Nick over there as they'll discuss. They have so many episodes talking all Florida Panthers hockey. But like I said at the top, Cesar, the Florida Panthers, I mean, with how down they were for so many years, and then at times there were times where fans felt hopeless when it comes to them winning the Stanley Cup. And to think for 6 straight years in the playoffs, 4 straight years in the second round, back-to-back Stanley Cups. I mean, it's a dream come true for multiple people. But I want to give you the floor for a little bit to tell your story on just your sense of perseverance and hope that can inspire so many people around.
Yeah, no, I definitely appreciate that, Armando. And yeah, for those of you who don't know me, my name is Cesar Lucero, known as Big C's, and I was born with a brittle bone condition called osteogenesis imperfecta, which is a bone doesn't allow my bones to support me really well. So my bones break very easily. There are 3 types, and I have type 3, which is one of the most severe types there is. Growing up, I've had more than 250 fractures throughout my life and had more than 17 surgeries. So it's never been easy for me. And, you know, during the beginning, doctors said you're probably only going to live 2 weeks. I've definitely outlived my doctors. So I'm kind of glad that I proved them all wrong, right? But perseverance is definitely a big key to my success. And I couldn't have done it without my parents. I think my parents are the big key to who I am today. My mom never given up on me. My dad never has given up on me. And both who are very hardworking people. My mom was born in Mexico, and she is a very hardworking person. And my dad was also a very hardworking person, being a military guy, served in the army when he was younger. And he kind of instilled with me and my brother that work hard and you'll get rewarded. And he never gave me any limitations. My mom has never given me any limitations. Throughout my life, I've always dealt with so much adversity. But for them to allow me to be the person that I wanted to be, I think has made me who I am. And I owe it all to my parents. And of course, you can't forget about my friends. My friends, growing up as a kid, never saw me as somebody in a wheelchair. They will always include me in any activities or anything that I wanted to do. Obviously, if I had a surgery or if I was had a broken arm or broken leg or anything like that, um, I was bedridden. So what did I have to do? I had nothing, no other choice but to watch sports. So that's how I became a big sports fan, being a Dallas Cowboy fan and being a big Florida Panther fan in 1996. John Van Beesbrook was one of the players who came to my elementary school, and he brought the goalie pads and his helmet and everything, kind of like a show and tell. And I'll never forget that moment when he came in. And it was a year, I believe it was 90. He came in 94. So it was a year before 96, before they started coming on that run. And I was like, man, this is so cool. Just being able to see him bring goalie pads and everything to school. I was like, man, I want to be like this guy. Or, so I ended up following hockey slowly. I got to watch him that year, the year of the rat. It was one heck of a run, and I was disappointed as a kid. And but the Panthers slowly kind of just were there, but they kind of fell off a little bit towards 2000, 2001. And I never really, I watched them here and there, but I wasn't really too into them until maybe 2011. And that's when things kind of started changing a little bit. Dale Talon was the general manager, and he brought in new players, tried to bring in new players, and I became in love again. And Jonathan Huberto was one of my favorite players. And as you all know, he was traded for Matthew Kachuk. So that trade really hurt me.
Yeah.
Uh, and it hurt a lot of people, right? A lot of South Florida fans, because Huberto was known to be a very great person, and he would interact with the fans. And I remember one moment I met him at a Hooters, and he came up to me and said, "Caesar, I'd like you to come meet my family." Like, he
Wow.
himself, right? Not many people do that, and especially superstars. And for him to do that, I'll never forget it. And and still to this day, he still messages me or sometimes like my posts on Instagram. So that's really cool to see. And so, when Matthew Kachuk was traded to the Florida Panthers, I was a little upset. Took me
Hmm.
kind of digest everything, right? And then yeah, just I got to learn a little bit more about Chucky. I got to learn who he was, who his dad was, and I remember that press conference. I think it was the day after he came on, and he said, "Mm, I hate Edmonton, but I hate Tampa
Right.
Bay more." Right? So
Yeah.
I was like, man, this is the guy I love, because we needed to be that team like Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay's been dominant for the longest time, and we couldn't get past them. So for him to say that, I was like, man, this guy, I don't know what it is, but he's gonna bring us something good. And yeah, man, it's sports in general, hockey, football, being able to coach high school football too. That was something that I can't thank enough. One of my teachers, Heimel Greenfield, gave me that opportunity as well. He said, just because you can't do it doesn't mean you can't. You got to try it. And he's like, he called the head coach of the high school football team, and he says, I got a big sports fan here. He loves football. And I think he'd be very knowledgeable to have in your locker room. I thought maybe I'd be like equipment manager or something like that, but no, the coaches ended up allowing me to be part of the coaching staff, and I got to coach high school football during my time in high school. And that just goes to show you that if you don't try, you'll never know what you're going to accomplish. So that was another moment for me that was very special. And, it just goes to show you that anything you can do, anything you put your mind to, you can always accomplish anything.
No doubt, and more importantly, it's such a nice gesture from Jonathan Huberto. It just comes down to seeing the other person as human. More importantly, when it comes to just that, and obviously, certain things are within someone's control, and some things are not. And credit to you on just even saying yes to the opportunity. I don't know if it was like you said, the going into a high school coaching opportunity in order to just be around a community of people. And hey, although wins and losses aren't the be all end all when on the high school level, because of that is just the development part of sports. People get to see, hey, if this guy is coming out here and trying to put and 24 hours in a day, and he's coming out here in order to try to be part of this a community and trying to also help people get better. I mean, it's like no excuse for other people, right? So that's the awesome part about this. But we're going to also continue the conversation with Cesar Lucero just about the summer of Cesar, where we are going to discuss more about the Cup celebration and everything in between, where Cesar has been this summer. So we're going to discuss that more next here on the Locked On Florida Panthers podcast. Today's episode is brought to you by Monarch Money. And ever wish managing your money felt easier? With Monarch Money, it can. Whether you're growing your savings or planning a big purchase, Monarch puts you in the driver's seat. It's like having your own personal CFO, give you full visibility and control over your finances. Monarch Money is more than just a budgeting app. It's a complete financial command center. And thanks to Monarch, it pointed out certain subscriptions of mine that I was still paying for, that I was not using. But thanks to Monarch, I was able to cancel some of the subscriptions and then move on and use that money in other parts of my life, or just use that as a means of saving more for future goals, like possibly purchasing a house in the future. So thanks to Monarch Money for that. So if you want to take control of your finances with Monarch Money, use code LOCKEDONNHL at monarchmoney.com for 50% off your order. That's monarchmoney.com, code LOCKEDONNHL for half off of your first year. Back on this Monday, July 28th edition of the Locked On Florida Panthers podcast. Thank you once again for making the Locked On Florida Panthers podcast your first listen of the day. Armando Velez here with Big C's Cesar Lucero here on the show today, discussing everything when it comes to Cesar. And this segment, we are going to discuss just the summer of Cesar. So for Cesar, you got to experience the past two runs for the Florida Panthers, them winning the Stanley Cup. But man, you have been everywhere, making your rounds on TV on shows, podcasts. But even before that, the thing that stuck out to me the most, which is honestly pure comedy when just looking back at it, is the beef that you had with NHL on TNT panelist Paul Bissonnette of just
busy boy.
Yeah, busy boy. And you even got Club 11 and everyone to say busy boy at the same time, which I want to give you the floor once again to just discuss how that gained so much momentum with the online beef that you guys had that actually turned into a friendship.
It's amazing, right? It kind of goes back to what Wayne Gretzky's always said. You miss 100% of the shots you don't take. So, for those of you who don't know, Paul Bissonnette is like one of those TV analysts that you either love or you hate. And whether you agree with his takes or not, he is such a great guy. But he came on X and he posted a video that he's saying he was sick and tired of the 27 Florida dirtbag fans. And when that video came out, I took that to heart. I was like, oh no, there's no way he's coming after Florida fans, right? And, first it was last year we had 6 fans. Now we have 27. So I guess that's an improvement, right? But Toronto fans kind of came at me too. But we'll get a little bit into that a little bit later. But it's funny because when I saw that video, like I was saying, I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna go and make a video myself and reply to his video and kind of defend our Florida Panther fans, right? So I ended up making a video, and I woke up the next morning, and it literally blew up. I was like, no way. He retweeted it and he liked it. And from that moment on, it just took off. It skyrocketed. Um, and it became a rivalry. And during that whole series, especially Florida being down 2-0, you know what's funny about that? I wasn't afraid. Because I just knew the Florida Panthers. I knew the way they played. And I was like, you know what? I we haven't played our best game yet. We haven't played that edge where we we dominate defensively. And Ekblad was still getting into the groove of things after his suspension and everything. And I posted a video. I'm like, it's not over. It's not over. Toronto might be up 2-0, but we're gonna come back. And lo and behold, we came back. And I think one of the biggest moments and one of the most proudest moments was Game 6. I know we lost, but I give credit to Biz on this aspect. He brought in Canadian oldie, who, for those of you who don't know, he's a big Toronto Maple Leafs fan. Came to the ice arena and started twerking. It became all like viral and everything on Barstool. And I remember sitting up there waiting for him to come up because I was like, how is this guy coming down to South Florida in our barn and doing this, right? And it was crazy because the police were there and everything, but they ended up letting him stay. He ended up calming down. Like, you can't be on the glass, literally working and stuff. So, but he came up, and I was not expecting them to do the unthinkable. They literally gave me a Brad Marchand jersey and a whole bunch of like Panther stuff, memorabilia. I thought that was really cool. And from that moment on, we became really good friends. We're best friends now. We call each other almost every week to see how we're doing. Got to meet his family. And I got to meet great people in the Barstool family. So, um, and as you all know, the Florida Panthers ended up beating Toronto. And I owe that all to Biz for lighting those candles in Game 7. I think he knew the funeral was happening. So,
Oh man, and yeah, with the Panthers, they hadn't played their best game. I mean, the amount of odd man rushes that they were giving up in games 1 and 2, and then all of it getting cleaned up, and then just I still think about 25-0 shot attempts Florida to Toronto just in the
it's
first
amazing.
first 10 minutes of that game at 7. I mean,
And
I
then
still
Seth Jones was probably his best game, right?
yeah, him and Brad Marchand both.
Right.
So and other people that you've been able to interact with just recently, Johnny Lazarus at the Baptist Health
Oh,
Iceplex.
what a beauty.
You got to trade a stick with him as well. So that's another cool thing. It's crazy. A lot of the other media personalities, like Johnny Lazarus, and also recently I got to meet Jesse Pollock of
Oh,
Bar Down. He got
what a
to
legend.
he complimented on the place as well. So that's another place that's another person that has been praising the Florida Panthers and all the work that they've done. But even for you, what happened at Club 11, them pouring a shot into your mouth, and then also the parade. I want to ask you
Yeah.
how much shock you were the fact that they were brought you onto the street in order to go with the players into A1A during the parade.
And it's crazy, kind of going back a little bit to what happened at 11. I remember that day just texting my friends before I even went that they couldn't go because they were still hungover, and from the days before that at Elbow Room. So I ended up talking to one of my friends, one of my old coworkers, and he ended up taking me. He's like, "Yeah, let's go." And I just wanted to see them lift the cup, and I just wanted to be part of the. I didn't want to miss anything this year because last year I know they were at Elbow Room. I was busy working. I missed that. Then they went to 11, and then I missed that. I'm like, this year, whatever it takes, I'm gonna go because I want to take every moment in. And when I got there, it's crazy. The line of people were there. I was like, man, it's gonna be forever to get in. But then, kind of like, when I got there, the people in the line just started chanting my name, Caesar, Caesar. I was like, dude, what is going on here? It honestly felt like I was like one of the players or something. And I go up to security and I was like, how am I going? What's the best way for me to get in? And they literally said, no, don't worry, we got you. Just go up the ramp, and then we got you. So big thanks and shout out to the security at 11 and the owner. I got to meet him afterwards. He was such an amazing person, great guy. Got to share a little bit moments with him. But once we got in there, and you know, the trainer, I believe, one of the training staff notices me and recognizes me. And I was actually hanging out with Jesse Pollock there and a couple of the people from the Panthers locker room. And then once they noticed me, they told Chucky, and Chucky immediately ran right to me and said, Caesar, we're going to get you down there. Let's go, buddy. I was just in awe. And from that moment, I did not think I was going to get on that stage because I was like, how's that going to happen? And all of a sudden, the stage literally starts going down like an elevator. And I was like, no way. Is that actually happening? And and then literally the players are on there that goes all the way to the ground. The players, Chucky's like, get your butt in here. You're going to celebrate with us. And literally starts raising up. Here comes Chucky. He takes the champagne, starts pouring it in the cup. And next thing you know, I'm getting waterboarded.
Man, I can only imagine the car ride home was still wet, and then the seat, the effect of the seat, and then probably maybe cracking the windows open a little bit to at least let it dry, maybe a little bit from all that. And of course, it doesn't help with the humidity. The humidity doesn't help with that.
Oh, not at all. Not at all. But at that moment, I didn't care. I was living a dream, right? And just being able to hang out with the players afterwards, got an opportunity to talk to Ekblad, got to talk to Marchand, Bennett. Such a great guy. All these players, and one of my favorite moments was talking to Barkey, because Barkey, for those of you that don't know, he donates a lot of money to the Joe DiMaggio Children's Hospital, and that's one of the hospitals that ended up saving my life. 2 years ago, I ended up being on cardiac arrest, and that hospital saved me. And I got an opportunity to tell them thank you for donating to that hospital. If it wasn't for them, I wouldn't be here today. So that was such an amazing moment for me that I'll never take for granted. And I just wanted to let Barkey know. And I thought that was a great, great moment for me during that time.
We got a lot more to get to on today's edition of the Locked On Florida Panthers podcast with Cesar Lucero. We'll discuss more about Florida Panthers hockey in segment number 3 and more coming up next. Segment number 3 here on this Monday, July 28th edition of the Locked On Florida Panthers podcast. Thank you once again for making the Locked On Florida Panthers podcast your first listen of the day, here with Cesar Lucero. Here, you once again follow him on X at Big C's and on Instagram at Caesar_inspires. 71 days until opening night. The last Florida Panther to wear number 71, Chris Tierney. So it's still a little bit of a while. Yeah, just a few years from the first second appearance in franchise history in the Stanley Cup Final, first of this 3-year run that the Panthers have been on. But yeah, so you're fresh off the Coldplay concert last night,
Which
Cesar,
was incredible.
which you're having once again a great summer. And I got to ask you, with the summer for the Florida Panthers and just their ability to keep everyone, which it's still been 3 weeks since free agency, and I'm still in shock of the fact that they were able to just continue to bring the band together. Obviously, there's still a few moves to be made on to be cap compliant once Matthew Tkachuk is healthy. But just I want to ask you just your initial shock and just how and your overall reaction on just how the Panthers have just been able to just keep this together.
Bill Zito's the GOAT. I mean, I don't
Mm.
honestly know what else to say. I mean, the guy is truly remarkable what he's done here, and let's not forget about Benny Viola and the Viola family. Just for them to allow Bill Zito to do his job, and for Bill Zito to allow everybody else to do their jobs, right? It just goes to show what they've done here as an organization. And I think it goes hand in hand. Bill Zito deserves to be the general manager of the year. I don't know how he hasn't won it in the last 2 years, being Stanley Cup champion back to back years, and he still isn't recognized. But like he always says, there's only one trophy that really matters at the end of the day, and that's the Stanley Cup. So, it, he's just amazing. Being able to keep all three guys, uh, Sam Bennett, uh, Ekblad. Ekblad knew this was his home. Being able
Mhm.
to meet him, talk to his brother too, meeting his brother.
Yep.
Those two look exactly alike. Unbelievable. It's crazy. Great guys, and Marchand too. I it, it I knew he was gonna get offered big money, and he obviously wanted a 32 million. So Bill Zito, for him to extend the years to get him that 32 million, it's like, okay, you want this? Let's just give you a couple more years so that way you can get your money, right? And then it works out for both parties. So I think it worked hand in hand, and just being able to have that winning culture in the locker room, being able to have the practice facility that they built here, the War Memorial, like you said, truly one of the best practice facilities in the NHL, and just the way the players have become bonded with each other. They are truly a family, and they feel like that. And and I can kind of see it the way they all hang out with each other. And in my interview with Jessica Blaylock, she's like, there's guys that sit in the tables that you wouldn't think that would be hanging out with each other. You got a Mikola hanging out with a Samoskevich, or a Brad Marchand hanging out with, somebody from the younger level. And that's really important. That just goes to show that they don't care like who you are on the team. They all treat each other like one. And that's really important to have in the locker room. And that's where I was like, being able to re-sign Bennett was really big for me, just because I know what he brings off the ice and on the ice. And I think that's really important to have this team stick together, because we have a chance to do something that hasn't been done since Montreal, win 3 cups in a row, right? Or win multiple cups.
Yeah, and you think about it, it starts with the desire to stay, and then how can we make it the financials work after step 2 doesn't happen before step 1 when it comes to just keeping the band together. But Bill Zito recently had his day with the cup in the Keys. I mean, there's the picture of the Panthers
Beautiful.
back to flag that they have on their championship t-shirts and the dolphin going over it. It's funny because our friend Florida Panthers historian tweeted that's the closest thing the Dolphins will get to a championship, and that broke my heart reading
Ooh,
that.
it's okay. I'm a Cowboys fan, so
Yeah. So neither of our football teams have had a bit of success recently,
unfortunate.
but the video of Bill Zito as well with the sea otter and just eating out of the cup, that's also a cool thing. But it's so crazy because you think about this offseason, when you think about just turnover when it comes to a roster. I mean, yeah, with the hard cap and no move clauses, it happens less in the NHL than it does in any other sports league. But this boring, and I don't mean this in a negative term for the Panthers, this boring offseason has just been once again so great when it comes to the fact is you don't want what I remember going into media day, and the players were asked about motivation to win the cup again, and then their response is, "You want it even more." And even as
Yeah.
fans, you and I,
Oh,
I think about it. I never want to experience another off season again of not seeing this team win the Stanley Cup. And obviously, we're doing it for fan reasons and also for content reasons as content creators as
Right.
well, because this helps us with the YouTube algorithm and everything. But I just think about it how going into the summer about how the word boring can actually be used in a great way here.
No, I agree. And Chucky said it best too. He's like, not only do we get hungrier for the cup, but we also want to win it for the players coming into the team. Like
Yeah.
Nate Schmidt has never won the Stanley Cup, and he got to experience it with us. So, the new players that we acquired, Seth Jones, he got to experience it winning with us. So he's like getting those new guys, getting that fresh um blood that wants it. You want to win it for those guys because you want to experience it with them. You want to celebrate it with those new players. And congratulations to Nate Schmidt. I think he's going to be great in Utah. Such a great guy, such a legend as well. Got to meet him a few times after winning the cup. And, for Seth Jones, too, a lot of bad rap that he got for being in Chicago and signing that contract. And I think Kirby and I were like on the bandwagon of if he comes to Florida, people are going to see the real Seth Jones. People are going to know who he is. I honestly think he was our best defenseman. He by far was the one guy that was consistent and played 27 plus minutes. And who knows where this team is when Ekblad gets suspended if he's not on this team. So, it just goes to show you what the players, the new addition, and with them wanting to stay here. This team is just running on all fuel, and I can't wait till opening night to that banner rises. It's going to be very emotional with everything that's happened, and I understand it's been a little bit boring here this summer, but I continue to go out and get to meet fans everywhere I go. Just people stop by and they're like, "You're Big Ceaz. Oh my gosh, we follow you. Super fan, Big Ceaz." At the Coldplay concert, I don't know. I've had like 5 people stop me and they're like, "You're Big Ceaz." So being able to share
So
that
great.
moment with them and take pictures with them, honestly, it's incredible.
Yeah, opening night is going to be a little different this year because you're not on the edge of your seat wondering what the banner looks like or how they're going to approach taking it out or even getting together because especially because of what we experienced the year before about how business as usual they were when they faced against the Boston Bruins. So I mean, hey, congratulations to graphic designer who designed the championship banner, and then if the Panthers win more, that's going to be it's going to be duplicated just with more years, and hopefully we see 2026 as well for the Florida Panthers and the first three-peat since the early 80s Islanders. So hopefully for the Panthers, it's only the beginning. And hey, I still can't believe that 5 o'clock start time, but hey, that we'll discuss that on another podcast.
Yeah.
All right. So a few more questions for you. When Cesar is not watching Florida Panthers hockey, he is doing what?
Ooh, either working or watching football. I was a big football fan before I started being a big hockey fan. So
Okay.
I'm a big Cowboys fan. So starting this year, it's going to be interesting seeing our new head coach, Brian Schottenheimer. I'm actually excited for what he's doing. He's changing the culture up, trying to get the players up and stuff. So we'll see what happens there. Healthy Dak Prescott will help as well. But like Dolphin fans, we haven't seen a Super Bowl in forever.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we'll see what happens. But yeah, I just like going out with my friends whenever I have the time off. Going to Flanagan's, my all-time go-to place.
Yep. Same here.
And yeah, with whatever we're down to do, we're always up and about. And yeah, that's basically my free time.
All right, and then last one for you. You've been like I said earlier, you've been making the rounds on different various podcasts and any hockey related travel that you're going to be doing for yourself or the Florida Panthers, or even other podcast appearances that you'll be going on in the future.
Ooh, man, there's so many podcasts that I've been out on so far. And shout out to those people that want to have me on. Truly a pleasure and a privilege. I think the biggest one was Spittin' Chicklets. That
Oh,
was
no doubt.
my all-time favorite. And I got the chance to even have RA from Spit and Chicklets on my podcast the last episode, so that was really one of my favorite moments to be able to interview him. But yeah, nothing really as traveling wise this year. But maybe next year. I can't wait to do the Winter Classic here. I think that's
Yes. Oh
my
yeah.
one of the ones that I'm really looking forward to, and it'll be against the New York Rangers. Now I know it won't be in a cold area, but it might be better for us fans. You know, we don't have to sit out there in negative degree temperature to watch a hockey game, right? So yeah, so that's kind of like my 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 traveling aspects. But maybe next year I'll my future goal is to go to the NHL Hall of Fame. So that's definitely on my bucket list, and I definitely want to do that hopefully in the near future.
The Panthers will definitely have to three-peat so that they can have that exhibit still up at the Hall of Fame, so that they give you
Yes.
a chance for sure to see it. So once again, Cesar Lucero of the Cats and Rats community and the Big C's show. Cesar, by the way, how much would I have to give you for a shirt of the one period, one shift at a time? How much would I? Because I think I might want to get one from you, my friend.
Honestly, I'm gonna send you one out, Armando. You're true legend on the Panther community here. But yeah, if anybody wants the shirt, it's on my website at CesarLucero.com, and they can get it on there. And it's it's one of the true inspirations that a lot of people have come to me. They wanted to they're like, Caesar, you're inspiring. And I've had people from Finland, Sweden, Toronto, Edmonton, Calgary, like you name it, like places that I never thought in my wildest dream I'd get people to message me from. So they said you're an inspiration, and I just wanted to give something of me a part of to them, because I truly believe in just having one shift at a time, one period at a time, and one game at a time. That's how I live my life, and I think that's how everybody should.
No doubt, and thank you, and obviously, I assume that you're going to be there on opening night. I'll be there on opening
Yes,
night, and
I have to.
we'll have to link up for sure. And
Yes,
I'm gonna give you a big hug when I see you, my friend. So,
you better, man. That's awesome.
but by the way, you guys can once again follow Cesar Lucero at Big C's on X. Caesar_inspires on Instagram for everything in relation there. So, C's, thank you so much, and have a great summer, and we'll definitely see each other very soon.
Thank you for having me, Armando.
And if you like what you're hearing, please subscribe to the podcast to be notified every single time the Locked On Florida Panthers podcast jumps into your podcast feed. Don't forget to also subscribe to the other shows on the Locked On NHL network, including Locked On NHL, Locked On Fantasy Hockey, Flip Livingstone and Stu Roden, and Locked On NHL Prospects. Thank you once again for making the Locked On Florida Panthers podcast your first listen of the day. So I'm Armando Velez with Cesar Lucero, and you've been listening to Locked On Florida Panthers podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. We're your team every day.